An AEW Star felt lied to by Tony Khan and the Young Bucks. Impact Wrestling have announced a major crossover event, and we've got an update on WWE 2K23's roster. Stay tuned for the news. So FTR were one of the big things in AEW for quite a while, but they were never really the focus of the tag team division. And I would say about this time last year, they were in big things, but they were in the pinnacle and they had all sorts of other things going on. But they've kind of felt like a little bit of a backseat to the Young Bucks, right?
They have. I think that's been a bone of contention for Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler for a little while, and it's kind of led to them taking a bit of a sabbatical from AEW ahead of their contract expiring in April, and they are stepping away. And Dax talked about this on his podcast, on the FTR podcast, about how he feels towards Tony Khan and the Young Bucks and their arrival. He said that when we came in, we were promised that the tag division was going to be built around these two teams, meaning FTR and the Young Bucks. I felt we were lied to, and at the time, we were being lied to. I think my relationship with Tony got even more strained, and I felt the relationship with the Bucks completely deteriorated. Now, I take the blame for it because I shouldn't have taken wrestling so seriously. If Tony decided that he didn't think we were in the league or we shouldn't be presented in a certain way, it's his company. Same thing with Vince McMahon. I hold no ill will towards Vince or Tony Khan. Tony's one of my closest buds now, and I love him for what he's done for me and my family. I should have looked back and said, if Tony doesn't look at us in this light, what can I do to prove him wrong? Instead, I have the same thought, but I was going to be combative and fight for it, and I shouldn't have. In this company, if there are ill feelings between us and the Young Bucks, it was because we took it personally, and we shouldn't have taken it personally. I think they took how we felt personally, and they probably should have, because we probably weren't being the best team players at that point. I can speak for me. I wasn't being the best team player because of all the SH1T I had going on in my Brian. So that's, some really open comments by Dax. Obviously, it seems like there's been water under the bridge since then.
Yeah, which is really good to see, because that's kind of been the thing for a lot of people, is like, oh, we never got that Young Bucks versus FTR match when FTR was on that massive role of having all the belts from all the other companies, and the Bucks were the AEW tag team champions. It made sense to have a match between them to sort of determine the best tag team, and we never saw that. And now a lot of people were jokingly on Twitter and all sorts of stuff being like, oh, the Young Bucks are scared of FTR, but it looks like there's sort of not to say there's truth to that, but a lot of backstage personal reasons between them that maybe that match didn't happen, right? And that seems like the FTR and the Young Bucks maybe have settled that, and hopefully we'll see that match in the future.
I'd love to see that match. I feel like it's a weird time for the tag division in AEW. Obviously, as we've talked about in the previous video, new champs ascending. And a lot of the teams that were part of that initial burst of great tag teams have moved over to the trios division.
Your
your Young Bucks, your Death Triangles, your Dark Orders, etc. And I feel like I'd like to see like a new, refocus
resurgence of the actual tag team, not actual tag team.
Tag teams.
The doubles tag team title.
And I feel it's a shame that FTR have reached this point where they've gone, do you know what, we're just going to come away altogether. And I feel like it's sad that they found themselves in a point where they went, we might as well just not be here. And that sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks, because they're so good. They are so very good. And I'm sad that they're that way, but you know what? They're doing what makes them happy, and that's all we should ever do in life, really, innit?
I still think they're the best tag team that AEW had.
Oh God, yeah.
I think
one of the best tag teams anywhere ever.
Absolutely. So it is, as you said, it is a shame that they're kind of taking a step back. We saw Dax go on quite a big singles run last year. He had so many singles matches that really put the attention on him. And hopefully because he seems completely devoted to the tag team division. If there's anyone in wrestling that is all about tag team wrestling, and he says it there himself, that he takes it all so seriously, it is Dax Harwood. And hopefully we will see him back. I really want to see them back. I want to see so many. There's more, even it's not going to happen, but them and Punk. There's so much
we barely scratched the surface.
We missed, and it was such a great sort of trio that we could have had that we likely won't get now. It is a shame. But we're going to look at Impact Wrestling for a little bit, because Fightful Select have given us an update on a Impact Star's contract. Fightful Select, go for it, Tom.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Fightful Select. So they've been talking about Deonna Purrazzo, who signed a little while ago. Originally, her contract, according to Fightful, supposed to be up at the end of last year. However, with an alteration to some terms back in 2021, there was a 1-year option that was added, and it gave Impact the right to extend the deal through 2023. And we're told on Impact's side, it was a very obvious choice to keep her. Yep. She's an incredibly talented soul. Purrazzo's deal is up at the end of this year. 1st of January 2024, she is a free agent, and there is certainly a school of thought that there'll be a lot of people who want to work with her. She did a brief bit in AEW, but I don't think the side's ever really...
Yeah, so she defended her Ring of Honor Women's Championship there, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see her like appear in Ring of Honor when it starts like actually producing weekly television. But I also could see WWE trying to get her back. She was in NXT. She didn't really get a lot of the focus, and then she was released. I think she's gone out. She's done, I want to say, a Drew McIntyre in the fact that she's gone out. She's made a name for herself more than it was in WWE. Yeah. And if she comes back, she could be a major focal point of whatever division she's in. That's not just for WWE. In AEW, she could be one of the top stars. Obviously, their women's roster is extensive. There's a lot of people on that roster that doesn't always get a spotlight, but she would be someone that sort of kind of commands a spotlight with her presence. She's fantastic in the ring, has got the look. But I could also see Impact really doing whatever it takes to keep her.
She's a strong member of the Knockouts division. She suits that Knockouts division so well. Not to say that she wouldn't suit anywhere else, but I'd be. I could see her popping back to WWE. Yeah. I have a hunch that I'm sure somewhere that I read that Triple H was a fan. And obviously Triple H going through this thing of sort of going back to the car boot sale that his dad's put on and gone, no, don't sell them, hold them back.
I know.
Put them back in the house.
It's going to be very interesting. January 2024 is going to be wild for wrestlers, free agencies, and who's going where. We've got the bidding war 2024 with MJF, possibly Deonna Purrazzo. I love a free agency. Like give us that Cody Rhodes. Like, where are they going? It's great stuff. But staying with Impact Wrestling for a little bit, they have announced a major crossover event with New Japan Pro Wrestling. In a press release, they said that they will co-produce a major live pro wrestling show on Thursday, March 30th at the Globe Theatre in Los Angeles. What's just a couple days later?
Oh,
I think there's a little show just down the road.
Yes,
maybe
Effie's Big Gay Brunch.
That's the one. Definitely not WrestleMania. WrestleMania's it's a small time show. But it's all at WrestleMania weekend. It's New Impact versus New Japan. It's going to be the multiverse of matches, sort of like what they did last year. I think it was a major sort of crossover event that they streamed on. I think it was Twitch at the time. But there's going to be some really big dream matches here. Josh Alexander will defend the Impact World Championship against Kushida. And then this one, sit down if you're not already. It's Speedball Mike Bailey versus Will Ospreay.
Oh, what?
That's going to be a very good match. Now, Speedball has been one of the, again, best parts of Impact. We've said it with Deonna, we've seen it with Speedball. He's one of the best parts of Impact Wrestling. He's put on some insane matches also in PWG. Just imagine what him and Ospreay could do. They've had 5 matches before, I think. This could be their best one. They're both at the top of the game right now.
Mike Bailey has been a dream match, big match machine for the last 12 months, and that's doing him a disservice, because even before sort of the spotlight was shone on him via Impact, everywhere he went, he was just absolutely lighting it up, and now the world is seeing it. And Mike Bailey and Will Ospreay on WrestleMania week.
It could steal the whole week. Like,
it
genuinely could, and that's a tough thing to say, because WrestleMania week always produces some fantastic matches across all independent companies, not just WWE. But this one has got, you know, all the eyes on it, and that's completely forgetting about Josh Alexander versus Kushida. Like, is Josh Alexander and Kushida.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
Impact's pretty good, guys.
I feel like we always say this. Impact is very good.
It's very. I said it in the last video. I loved a bit of TNA. I'm loving a bit of Impact now. But the show will be called Multiverse United. Only the strong survive. You can get it on pay-per-view on Fight TV. So check that out when it comes to it. Finally, we're going to look at WWE 2K23. It's been a lot of news has been coming out about it. They've been very sort of open with the roster appearances. Lots of YouTubers have been putting up videos of their entrances, and we've had some tweets as well, sort of revealing the roster. Do you want to go through it for me, Tom?
Yeah, so not a full roster, of course, but they've given us a little taste of who we can expect in the game. Bianca Belair, Asuka, Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch, Damian Priest, Bobby Lashley, Seth Rollins, the Bella Twins. I mean, if this was No Mercy, you'd just have the same character, but they'd just be different clothing palettes. Like how Michael Cole and Jim Ross are the same character in No Mercy. I'm just saying. Kurt Angle, Queen Zelina, Cody Rhodes, Molly Holly, and NXT stars Nikita Lyons, Cora Jade, Roxanne Perez, Carmelo Hayes, Braun Breaker, and Grayson Waller all make their debuts as well.
It's pretty exciting. I'm really glad to see that NXT is getting a lot of people there because they missed out last year. Carmelo Hayes, Braun Breaker, Grayson Waller particularly, those were the names that people were expecting that they were going to be in it in some form, whether it was DLC or in the main game, and they didn't make it. The look that we've got in all these, they look incredible. Carmelo Hayes particularly looks insane, spot on for Mello his money.
Now, the roster for 2K22 was hilarious because when the game came out in March, I sat there and went through and went, they were released, they've been released, they've been released, they've been released. And then as the year has gone on, that roster's become more up to date.
It's up to date, yeah, right.
that roster's pretty much smack on now, with the exception of a couple of AEW guys.
Bronson Reed, that's it.
I think that's it. And Keith Lee's still in there for some reason. But I don't think there'll be that problem this year. I think the roster's been fairly steady in comparison to what came beforehand.
The worry now is that they took people out of the game and now they're back, so they've got to, oh no, it's now November, so-and-so's back. We've got to put them back in.
Get them in, boys, get them in.
It's very exciting. We're only, I think, 33 days away from the deluxe edition release. Obviously, we will keep you updated on all the stuff about 2K23.
Andrew did a great video on it, by the way. It's on our YouTube channel right now. Andrew went down to London. Imagine that, a Yorkshireman in London. How hilarious was that? Taking his whippet on the tube, trying to start conversations.
Yeah, oh, Matt.
How much for a pint? Eat by gum.
That's exactly what Andrew said when he got back. But that is all the news we have for you today. Stay tuned to all the stuff we've got on the channel. Go and check out our brand new shorts content. There's a lot of fun, exciting stuff on there. So just after this, go down, swipe to the shorts tab. Boom, you've got all this great shorts content. So keep an eye on all that sort of stuff. Anything else you want to plug, Tom?
I've made you some content. Daddy made you your favorite. Open wide. Here comes the content. It's a beautiful day to stay inside.
You're too good at it, Tom. We'll get copyright.